Hey Torah sisters, it's me, Amy. The season of unleavened bread is right around the corner. Most of us are doing it next week. And so if you're like me, you're thinking and you're actually getting the leaven out of your houses. We're told to get the leaven out of our houses and to eat only unleavened bread. But more importantly, of course, we're all thinking about the spiritual lessons behind that physical object lesson. And what does it mean? So I'm just going to talk in this video about it, what it's meaning to me this year. And it sort of changes a little bit every year. I'm of the understanding now that getting the leaven out is about getting out the bad doctrine, the bad teaching, the bad junk that just sort of spreads throughout congregations and it spreads throughout our hearts and minds. Once you let in a little bit of junk, it just sort of grows, and takes a foothold. And so it's that sort of bad information that I try to get out. And this is sort of it is a season of starting fresh. So we're told to get that leaven out of our houses and then to start a new lump after the feast. And we ourselves are a new lump. And really, we take all that leaven out and you just don't have any of it during the feast. And then I think when the feast is done, and during the feast, we fill up with the word, right? You have all this extra time to fellowship and have Bible studies, and hopefully you don't have to work, and you just dig into the word. So you get out the leaven, all the man-made stuff and junk. You fill yourself up with the bread of life, the word, the Torah, Yeshua. And then after the feast, my plan is before I push play on a podcast or a YouTube video, or before I crack open a book, I'm going to analyze it and see, is this something that is good for me? Now, I'm not talking you can only put stuff into your heads and minds that is spiritual of nature. A lot of stuff we look at is just common. But is it good for me? Is it helpful? Is it true? So, and again, I'm not saying throw out everything that has a little bit of untruth. I mean, like sometimes I'll say something wrong too. But just to have this season afterwards of, as I let one thing in at a time, I'm going to really deliberately think, is this something I need to have in my life? Is this something I need to feed my heart, soul, and mind, or let into my children's lives? Same thing. I'm guarding their hearts too. So for me, it is partly about doctrine and, listening only to YouTube people who have their head on straight, not perfect, but have their head on straight. It's also about, how do people make me feel? How do they make me respond? I mean, we've all seen it. There could be some person on YouTube who's right, but they present information in such a way that it makes you hate this group of people, or it makes you really resent your situation, or to be discontent, or to be even coveting something else. So even though they're technically right, if they present it in a way that it brings out not good things in you, and this is how I'm looking at things, maybe that's someone I don't need to listen to. So that's the way I'm looking at it. I'm also looking at just everything else that I feed my soul. I'm going to be looking at the books I read. I'm going to be looking at the entertainment I entertain myself with. Yes, I like to watch a show now and then, but is it a wholesome show, or is it a show that entertains me with sin? I think so many times we find ourselves watching a show for entertainment and there's sin in it. And I mean, we see it for the sin it is, but we shouldn't be entertained by it. So I'm going to carefully scrutinize my entertainment again. All that kind of stuff. The podcasts, the books, whatever it is that I let into my eyes, into my ears. Is it good for me? Or does it bring out the worst in me? Like I said, something can be good for someone else, but in me it brings out the worst. I say it a lot. If some of you have husbands who don't keep Torah, and there's a teacher who's telling you to leave your husband, don't listen to that teacher. Now, this is going to be an easy process for me. Me and my kids go away. We're with friends the whole feast. We don't play on YouTube, none of that. There's no media, anything for a whole week. And so it's going to be when we get home, we're going to carefully scrutinize everything that we put back in. Now, I will say, if you dump everything out, fill up the void. Don't leave a void, which is why this object lesson is so cool, right? You take out the leaven and you fill yourself up during the week with the bread of life. But this might be a good season to then put some good things into your life. And this is a season of fresh starts. This is a season of renewal. It is the new year. So, you think of the world will do their New Year's resolutions. And I don't really believe in New Year's resolutions. Now, if there's sin in your life, the best time to get rid of sin is just right now. Just right now, immediately. He will give you power over that if you determine not to do it. But as far as other things that are not sin issues, we're not going to make New Year's resolutions maybe necessarily, but maybe this time of year, if you're looking for, if you've been thinking about making a change in your life, and you've been looking for a little more motivation, or you've been kicking the idea around, or feeling convicted about something in your life that you need to change, maybe this will encourage you that this is a good season to make that change. You're going to have a whole week of unleavened bread, hopefully low stress, no stress from work, all the usual things. So it can be a good chance to set your heart and mind on something that you want to change in your life, because this is the season of a fresh start, being a new lump, having all things made new again. This is the beginning of the year. So maybe, I don't know what changes you're thinking about making, but anything, I don't know, just maybe you want to read more books. Maybe you want to go for more walks. Maybe you want to tackle your depression more. Maybe you're depressed and you see some things that you could do for it and you've been putting it off. Maybe now is a season of renewal to tackle something like that, or to lose weight, or to be more deliberate in your homeschooling. I don't know what it is. And again, these are not sin issues. I'm just throwing out whatever goals or changes you want to make. Maybe unleavened bread is a perfect time to start fresh with those things. I will tell you a trick that I tell myself. Sometimes I look at the end goal when I want to make a change in my life, and I look at the end goal and it can really discourage me because it's such a huge thing. Like at the end of the year, I want to have read 30 books. Well, 30 might be a lot. 20 books. But even that can seem like a lot, and it can seem unattainable and sort of too big. So I've learned to play mind games with myself sometimes and to say, no, I want to be a person who reads books, or I want to be a person who goes for walks every day, because today, right now, I can be that kind of a person. I want to be the kind of a person who is losing weight. I want to be the kind of a person who is deliberate with my homeschooling. So right now, today, I can be that kind of a person. It doesn't mean I am already the most amazing homeschooling mom ever, or I've already read 30 books, or I've already lost 30 pounds. But today I am the kind of person who does that stuff. And for a lot of us, I think that's what we want. We want to be the kind of people who do whatever it is that you're feeling convicted of. Now, I'm not saying that your goal has to be what someone else does. We are all different, and the Father gives us different convictions about different things at different times. Your husbands are different. Your families are different. Don't desire to do what someone else does. I'm talking whatever, if you have a change that you want to make, you can be that kind of a person who does that thing today. I was thinking of examples. I can't think of a single example that couldn't be started right now today. And then you can have some confidence saying, I am right now the kind of person who does this thing. And of course, eventually you're going to reach your goal. You're going to have an awesome homeschool, and you're going to have read a whole bunch of books or whatever it is. But already today, you're the person who does that thing. And in a sense, you can be proud of that in a way. But really, truly, don't look at each other. Ladies, we're so bad at that. Don't look at each other. This is just for ourselves to think about what we want to do. So I guess this video is about two big things. Get out all the junk, especially the media that we feed. All of it, good and bad, whatever it is. Get it all out. I shouldn't use the word junk. Get it all out during the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And maybe feast on the bread of life, the word, during the feast. Then after the feast, start bringing in stuff. And if there's something in your life that you've been wanting to change, maybe realizing that now this season of renewal is a good time to change things in our lives. So as you can see, it is a beautiful spring day here in Michigan. My boys are out playing swords with sticks. So I hope that you all have a really blessed feast. I'm not sure if you'll hear from me again. We're busy packing and stuff to go away. But I really hope you have a blessed unleavened bread. And maybe I'll see you during the feast. I'm not sure. But bye, sisters.